Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
I nostri programmi sono offerti in molte lingue. Consultate suprememastertv.com/schedule.
If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, things fall into place. And I really feel like that's how my baked goods and even my full catering experiences have taken off so well, because it's just what I'm naturally supposed to be doing.
Please continue watching to learn more about vegan baker of goodness, Chris Tucker.
No to vegan? Only people who work for heaven choose it.
Kind viewers, encantado de conocerlos means nice to meet you in Spanish, the official language of the Republic of El Salvador. I'm Clarissa. The exuberant people of El Salvador are grateful for your kind and loving care for our animal friends and wish you excellent health with heaven's infinite blessing. Welcome to our show. Chris Tucker, Vegan, Vegan Baker of Goodness, Part 1 of 2. Today, it is our pleasure to feature Chef Chris Tucker, an innovative vegan baker contestant of the Great American Baking Show in 2018 and founder of the company Better with Butter. Chris grew up learning about food preparation from a very young age, as his family owned a restaurant they purchased the year he was born.
I always knew the restaurant industry. I was working in the restaurant from a really young age, and I started as a dishwasher. Just because my family owned the restaurant didn't mean I had special privileges. I actually had to start at the very bottom like everybody else, like it was a normal job, and work my way up. And I landed in the kitchen at one stage, and that's where I really found my footing.
Chef Tucker's love for baking was also ignited at a young age by his beloved grandma.
And my other set of grandparents would come down from Arkansas, which is where they lived. And my grandma, Mimi, she's the one that really instilled in me the love for baking. She would invite me into the kitchen with her, and she would bring me up to her level on a stool and teach me all of these tricks of the trade. She was not a trained baker by any means. She was just a grandma baker, and she taught me all of her recipes that she had developed over the years. And unfortunately, she passed away of lung cancer when I was in 8th grade. And nobody else in the family knew how to create any of her recipes besides me. So at the young age of 12 or 13, I was tasked to bring all of these recipes to life every holiday season to really make it feel like the holidays.
After graduating high school, Chris became a hairstylist and worked in this field for 8 years. However, a life-changing opportunity soon came beckoning that brought him back to his love of creating delicious food.
Again, I had the opportunity to go on the Great American Baking Show, and it was kind of one of those pinch me moments. I got to go to London. It was my very first time going overseas to London, and I got it paid for by the show. Like, you can't really ask for anything more than that to experience your first time overseas being paid for trip by a network. So that was really, really cool. But I was surrounded by people who were excited about the same things that I was excited about. And I was over there for about 6 weeks filming the show. It was really, really intense. It was really hard. We were judged by Paul Hollywood and by Sherry Yard, who is a renowned pastry chef here in the States. And it was a dream come true. I mean, being able to be in that worldwide known tent and bake with other people who had the same passion as I did was just such a cool experience.
Taking part in filming the show was a definite highlight, with Chris Tucker being crowned as Star Baker in week 2. He's been called a culinary wizard, and his baked goods and meals have been enjoyed by many. We're sure that, like us, his enthusiastic customers appreciate that he and his delicious confectionaries are now all vegan.
I actually became a vegan only 3 years ago. So I guess I'm definitely considered a baby vegan still. But when I became a vegan, it was because of watching the documentaries that probably have changed a lot of people. It was watching Seaspiracy, it was watching What the Health, it was watching Cowspiracy, and it really opened my eyes to what the industry was doing to our environment, what it was doing to our animals. And I was a vegetarian for a very long time. Before that, I was a pescatarian, thinking that I was doing the right thing by just eating fish. Cut to Seaspiracy comes out, and I'm like, oh, I definitely wasn't doing the right thing. But I thought that just being a vegetarian and holding on to the dairy side of things and just using cheeses and butters and animal dairy was fine. And it wasn't until I really educated myself that I realized I'm still playing an active role in everything that's wrong in the world.
Our lust for meat is also compromising our own health. It's inducing chronic inflammation in our cells, clogging our arteries, slowing our digestion, contributing to colon cancer and helping to make us fat. The Reverend Father Frank Mann, vegetarian.
We're going to pause for a moment to thank all the vegan chefs and bakers who make people happy with their delicious creations. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our show, Chris Tucker, Vegan, Vegan Baker of Goodness, Part 1 of 2. Following Chef Tucker's transition to the vegan diet, his next undertaking was to veganize his many exceptional recipes.
It's one of those things where you have to just make your mind up to do it. And once you make your mind up to do it, it becomes more of a self-challenge and more of a really fun experiment than a nagging task. It's not something that's weighing on you that you have to do, but something that's like really fun and exciting. And people that have been in the kitchen for so long, for so many years, baking the same things over and over again, it really, for me, added a new challenge to make things vegan, because I was doing these same recipes over and over again, and to have to go back into the kitchen and restructure them all chemically to make them vegan, it added a new layer of excitement to me because it meant that it was all brand new again. And I think that was a really fun part of it for me that I didn't expect going in, because I just thought it was going to be this daunting process. And it wasn't. It was actually fun.
Chris Tucker has found that within these 3 short years of becoming vegan, there has been a noticeable increase in the number of vegan products he can choose from for his delectable creations.
I have found that on the market today, there is so many things that you can use. There's so many incredible products because of the strides that we have made in the vegan technology space when it comes to food, that it's really simple now. Back 3 years ago, even when I was first transitioning all of my products, there wasn't as many products available as there is now. For instance, sometimes you can swap in your eggs for a cake. You can use just a simple vegan egg replacement that you find in your local grocery store. So it's not as complicated as it used to be, but there is your tried and true, flaxseed. There is one of my favorite things to actually use is just a simple baking soda and apple cider vinegar and a little bit of oil. That combination is actually an incredible egg replacer when it comes to cakes and things like that, because it doesn't change the texture of your cake and it acts the same way that an egg would.
Chris Tucker is the founder and CEO of Better with Butter, which, in addition to being vegan, is an allergen-friendly bakery. The business started by creating cakes for birthdays and catering for small events, and has grown exponentially since.
We don't like to think of somebody having a dietary restriction, may it be for actual medical needs or because of a choice that they make because of serving the environment or the animal community. We don't want that to hinder them from having a beautiful baked good. And so we first started off gluten-free. So most of the products that we put out are 100% vegan and gluten-free. We also do put out some things that are just vegan and not gluten-free as well, but everything that we do put out now is vegan. And so allergy conscious really is at the core of what we do, because we think that everybody should have access to beautiful baked goods no matter their dietary restrictions.
The response to his vegan treats has been phenomenal, with requests for Chris Tucker to bake exclusively for some very high-profile people.
I just naturally was doing what was natural to me, and the reception of it has been great. I recently just had the opportunity to do Steven Tyler's Grammy party, and so I did all of the vegan desserts for that. And then just before that, I did all of the vegan desserts for Elton John's party that held after the Oscars every year. And so I'm getting called on to do all of these high-profile things, which for just a small boy from Florida who moved out to LA to do hair is pretty incredible, because I didn't come out to LA to be a chef to the stars. I didn't come out to LA to have a career in TV, but these are things that are just naturally happening because they're just natural to me. And so I think I like to use it as an example for people that if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, things fall into place. And I really feel like that's how my baked goods and even my full catering experiences have taken off so well, because it's just what I'm naturally supposed to be doing.
As Chris fully embraces his vocation as a vegan baker, new opportunities continue to present themselves.
We did just get done shooting the first ever vegan culinary food competition show. It's going to premiere in September, so we will be looking for buyers for that show. It was self-funded by a company called VEG, and the show is called Peeled, and I'll be sitting on the judging panel of that show. And our entire cast was vegan, our entire crew was vegan, the entire post-production, everybody is vegan. Everybody that has their hands in the show is going to be vegan. So we're going to be having a premiere here in Los Angeles, and we are going to be shopping that show to some networks, but I think it's definitely time for there to be a mainstream vegan culinary competition show that you can turn on your TV and see any day of the week, because being vegan isn't niche anymore.
We excitedly anticipate the upcoming vegan culinary competition show and thankfully celebrate Chef Chris Tucker's success in bringing delicious vegan fare to the people of Los Angeles and the world. For more information on Chris Tucker and Better with Butter, please visit betterwithbutter.com.
Deny vegan? Don't worry, God will not ask you again, 'cause you'll be away, far, far from God, in hell.
Kind viewers, we have enjoyed having your company for today's show. Please join us next week on Tuesday, October 25th for part 2 of this program. Coming up next is Supreme Master Ching Hai's plea for humans to awaken and know right from wrong. Part 2 of 7 on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May everyone soon embrace the vegan diet and blissfully enjoy the discovery of delicious vegan ingredients and recipes.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VEG.